Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today we are going to be doing the Reader Problems book tag. I was tagged in this video by Joules over at Simply Joules, and I'll leave her channel down below. Basically, what you do for this tag is you are given a bunch of bookish scenarios and you just have to decide how you're going to react to them. So let's just get started. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. That sounds like me. How do you decide what to read next? Well, I came up with a plan of action, alright, because I am a planner. So step 1, you read all the books that continue a beloved series. So if there's a trilogy that you love and you can't live without and the last book just came out, you'll read that book. Or if there's a book that you love, like Illuminae, for example, and Gemina just came out, you'll read that one because you'll want to read it. Step 2, you alternate between high and low rated books when you don't know what to read. So you read a high-rated book, and then you read a low-rated book, and a high and a low, based off of like Goodreads or something. Basically what I found is that if I read a bunch of really good books that I keep giving 5 stars, and then all of a sudden I get to a book that's not so great, I end up giving that book a lower rating than I normally would have, just because I'm comparing it to all of these really good books that I've read earlier. That's why I kind of want to alternate. If I had this problem, which even though I do, I know what I want to read, so I'm not doing that. And 3, when in doubt, read Cassandra Clare. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? In my opinion, I'll only continue reading something if somebody else says that it gets better. But if nobody's telling you to keep going, and if nobody's saying that the series or the book gets any better, why would you keep reading? The end of the year is coming and you're so close yet so far away from your Goodreads reading goal. Do you try and catch up? And why? So I have a problem with this scenario. How can you be so close yet so far away from something? I never understood that, like ever. Like it's just some kind of like paradox that doesn't make any sense to me. But alright, I'll go with it, and if that was the case, then no, I probably wouldn't try to catch up, because as much as I like my Goodreads reading challenge, I didn't really want one in the first place. The only reason that I made one was because Goodreads made me. So if they hadn't made me, I wouldn't even have one and we wouldn't be having this problem. The covers of a series that you love do not match. How do you cope? I don't! Everyone and their mother loves a book that you just can't stand. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Honestly, I'd probably have to go with my family for any book that I don't like and everybody else loves, just because I know that they will never read this book and they could care less about my opinion of the book, but they won't come back with anything like, but did you look at this part? Or, but what about this scene? Because they've never read the book. So I can share all of my awful feelings with them and nobody will come back at me with anything. So, you know, win-win. You're reading a book and are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? Well, okay, it depends on where I am. Like, if I'm in a bookstore and I'm reading a book and I'm gonna cry, I'll cry, because I understand that everybody around me gets what I'm going through. And if I'm sitting on a bench in a park for some reason, because normally I'm not, but if I am and I start crying, I'll keep crying, because it's not likely that I'll know anybody who's walking past me in the park. A sequel for a book that you love just came out, but you've forgotten most of what you read in the first book. Do you reread the book? Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. I will always reread the book. It's better for me to reread the book and have so much more of an understanding and remember what happens than go into the second book not remembering half of what happened in the first book and not knowing what's going on and not appreciating it enough. So yes, you do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely say no when someone asks? So here's the thing. There's really no polite way to go about doing this, at least where I'm concerned. You say no, you rip the bandage off, and you get on with your life. Hey, can I borrow that book? I really wanted to read it. No. Oh. Okay. And we're done. You've picked up and put down 5 books this month. How do you get out of your reading slump? Alright, this is not the best question for me because I don't think that I have ever actually been in a reading slump. Ever. And you guys are gonna be like, Ashley, what are you talking about? No, I think I'm pretty serious about this. There have been times where I haven't read, but it was because I didn't want to read. And when I think of a reading slump, I think of like reading a book and then not being able to get into any other books even though you want to read. So in those periods where I wasn't reading, I didn't want to read. I didn't have an interest in reading at that time. It was only certain times where I was like, I really want to read, and then all of a sudden I was just like, no, I don't want anything to do with books. So there's never been a time where I've read a book and been so obsessed and sad that even though I want to read more books, I haven't been able to. That's just never been my problem. If I had to give an answer to this question, I'd probably refer back to my answer from scenario 1. When in doubt, read Cassandra Clare. There are so many new books coming out that you are dying to read. How many do you buy? You buy them all and you have no regrets. After buying the new books that you just can't wait to read, how long do they sit on your shelf before you read them? Alright, this depends on what book it is. Like, if, let's just say, Lord of Shadows, for instance, just came out, I am reading that as soon as it is in my hands. Probably in the car ride home if I am not driving. If it's any other book, it just depends on how much I want to read it. If it's, like I said, a continuation of a beloved series, I'll read that. I'd probably say anywhere between a minute to 3 months, which is really, really, like, broad, but it's true. The only exception to that time period is Fangirl. I've had this book since Christmas. It's been sitting on my shelf for like 9 months. I am such a bad person. And so that was the Reader Problems book tag. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with me through this. Hope you enjoyed my answers and let me know if you agree with any of them, because I want to know if there are people out there as crazy as I am. I think I'm going to tag Katie from KatesBookDate and Kaylynn from KaysCozyReads, Ray from LittleLotte Reads, and Keeley from mermaidkeeley. I'll leave all their channels down below and I'll tag them on Twitter. If any of you guys have already done this tag, sorry. So I am a _12 on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. You can go say hi to me there. You can comment down below and I'll more than likely comment back. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye!